Hey, what's going on, my fellow Raiders, Doomers, Crusaders, Scullies, and Fivers? It's me, Russell. I run the Rusty Bullwhip YouTube channel, and no intro this time. We're just going to be doing a very quick tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to change out the fall on a whip. So I'm going to go over the materials right now, and we're going to get right into it. Alrighty, so the materials you're going to need are 1. A whip that you want to replace the fall with. We're going to be using my 10-foot Todd's Costumes Indiana Jones Bullwhip. Next, you're going to need a new fall. This is a white hide fall from davidmorgan.com. So we're going to be using this to replace the old fall. Next, you're going to need something to grease your fall. So I'm using leather conditioning wipes. Leather soap and saddle soap will also work just fine, just to lubricate the whip and to help slide the fall in a lot easier. These are some hemostat pliers. These will help us pull the new fall through the fall hitch when it's all ready to go. And these are a pair of clamp pliers that we're going to be cutting the old fall. Last but not least, you're going to need a brand new nylon cracker just to tie on the end of the fall when the whole process is done. So those are all of the materials that you're going to need, and let's get straight into it. Time for step 1. Step 1, we are going to be wiping the end of the whip by the fall hitch. So I'm just going to be wiping all the way down. This will help lubricate this old fall so it'll slide out a lot easier. So just do that. I'm using my leather wipe, and this is the old red hide fall on my Todd's whip. So we're just greasing it. Grease it about maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 times, and then it's all nice and lubed up, and now we're moving on to step 2. Time for step 1. Step 1, we are going to be wiping the end of the whip by the fall hitch. So I'm just going to be wiping all the way down. This will help lubricate this old fall so it'll slide out a lot easier. So just do that. I'm using my leather wipe, and this is the old red hide fall on my Todd's whip. So we're just greasing it. Grease it about maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 times, and then it's all nice and lubed up, and now we're moving on to step 2. Okay, step 2. Get your white hide fall, your brand new fall, and we're going to wipe it the same way we did with the old fall. We're going to start at where the loop begins, and we're going to just run our wipe all the way down this new white hide fall. And just be sure to wipe it maybe like 2 to 3 times, as I'm doing, just to really get it lubricated so we can slide it through that hitch really easily. Alright, step 2, done. Okay, for step 3, make sure you get this one correct, because this is a very important step. So we're going to open up the eye of our David Morgan fall, and luckily this one has a very big eye loop. We're going to feed that over the old fall, and since it's all greased up, it's going to go on a lot easier. So we're going to run it up there, up the fall, and once we get to the hitch strands, be sure to get all of the strands through the eye. See, one of them is kind of stuck behind there. So we're just going to keep pushing and pushing to make sure that that fall goes over the hitch. Perfect. And we're just going to slide it up maybe like a foot or maybe a foot and a half up the thong of the whip, and make sure that the smooth side is facing upward. Alright, that's step 3 done. Okay, here's the tricky part. Make sure you get this one especially right, because if you mess it up, well, you're basically screwed. Alright, so step 4. Clamp with your hemostat clamps, clamp the key strand. Pull up until it's out of the eye of the old fall. Take those pliers from earlier. You can use small scissors if you wish, but I'm using these small pliers. Make sure not to cut any of the whip strands here or here. Only cut the eyelet of the fall. So, like this. We have a firm grip there, making sure that we're not snipping any strands. Just gotta double check, make sure I'm not messing up here. Okay, just make sure you clamp down. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So we just cut through the eye of that. Let me just check and make sure I'm not cutting any strands. Perfect. So we just cut through that, and you see nothing has been broken. So I did it correctly. So now it's time to pull out that fall. Alright, step 5. Wrap your hand around the old fall like this and give it a good yank. This might take a little bit of extra oomph to get it through, but just pull as hard as you can and make sure that the hitch stays intact. Hold the key strand and pull until that fall comes right out. You might need some extra grease from your leather wipes or your conditioner to help you out, but I think I should do this just fine. There we go. Alright, we did it. So now there's a tunnel left by the old fall. And we're going to move on to step 6. Step 6 next. Alright, get those hemostat pliers from earlier. Clamp them tight. Feed them through the entire length of the fall hitch. Make sure it passes under all of the hitch strands. Take that brand new fall that you have, make sure that correct smooth side is facing upward, and open up the pliers. Make sure you get a good grip around that fall. This one's pretty thick, so this might take some time. Alright, once you have a secure clamp around that fall, we're going to twist very carefully and just pull this new fall right through those hitch strands. It should smoothly go. Perfect. There we go. You can see there, and the smooth side is facing up. All we have to do is keep pulling very carefully. Keep pulling very carefully. And sometimes you can use your hand. Make sure that the fall doesn't kink up too. Make sure that the smooth side is always facing upward and that the rough side is not coming out. So we're pulling. This one's kind of notice how the fall is kind of twisting up, so we're gonna have to fix that a little bit by rotating the fall. Alright, so off camera I just readjusted the fall. I just fed it back through that tunnel just to make sure that everything was going to plan. And looks like everything came through alright, so once you just have to keep pulling until we get to the key strand. And the key strand, all you have to do is take your hemostat pliers one more time, and all you gotta do is feed them under that eye where the new fall is. Because there's a small opening that we can feed them under. There we go. All you gotta do is grip the key strand and pull it right through there. And make sure that the fall is set in good and tight. Give it a couple extra tugs. Make sure it gets all the way in there. Be sure to check if the smooth side of your fall is facing upward. So that's correct. So we did it. We just replaced the fall. And now for the final step, attaching the cracker. Okay, take your cracker and open up a little loop in the end. So now we have a little eye that we can feed over the tip of the fall. Like this. Let's feed it right over the tip of that fall. slide it down a couple inches, and you can tie an overhand knot or just, this is the most simple way that I do it. It'll keep it pretty secure. But if you want to tie a tighter knot, you can. But the teeth in that cracker should cinch up to that fall really well. So there you go. And well guys, there you go. That is a brand new white hide fall from David Morgan tied onto my new Todd Costumes Bullwhip. I hope this helps you guys in replacing your falls, especially if you have leather whips. If you have nylon whips, you don't have to worry about what specific side of the fall you have to have facing up. But you can follow this the same way with a nylon whip. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.